by looking at their structure of their forehead and the frame of their bones being thicker.
Man didn't have
again now.
No, if I can make a point, man didn't have any longevity before the fall. Adam was the first man, and Adam fell.
Yeah,
there is no longevity before the fall because Adam was the first man, and Adam was the one that fell.
Come on, dude. They were making babies 200 years old, whatever.
Everyone who lives to 600 years old after the fall lived after the fall.
It gradually went down. If you read the scripture, it went down. You know, from Methuselah down, it went down, 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 and then 120 was set as a maximum, and it's still going down, down, down. And the only people, why some people live in that, in their centenary, is because of modern medical science and technology and stuff, real science. I just dispute evolution. I don't dispute quantum physics. I don't
dispute evolution, but
science. I don't dispute physics. I don't dispute.
You dispute for 1 minute. You dispute it. Sorry, DT. Go on. Go say. Emma.
Can I have the floor for just 1 minute? I just want to point out one of you two gentlemen that's a theist, not Bruce, one of you two other gentlemen was dead wrong a few moments ago. And I wonder if you're man enough to admit it. One of you said the bat is, and you were very adamant about it, the bat is only mentioned in the Bible once.
That what you're not considering, Donning Thomas.
In them days, or
Bats are mentioned. And then not less than 5 minutes later, there's a...
I told you it's going to be like a FEMA camp. You're putting gates up and big tall. Wait, we're going on meat diets. Dang it.
A man named Jed, a poor man here, but he kept his phone fed. Then one day he was shooting at the road and up came around grumbling boot.
Are you talking about on Linda's stream where he mentioned the N-word?
I don't know who did. Why or whatever. I think it's just like a basic actual harp. A small harp. Yeah, they're cool. But
whatever string instrument they would use at the time, or something.
Catgut strings, probably, or vines or something. I don't know what they used. What kind
of? More like the good, bad, and the ugly, because the Jews harp, a little
Yeah, wow.
You're not allowed to call it Jews harp anymore. It's actually got a new official name because that's not progressive and it's so bigotry, racist, and demonstrative.
Vackle is being racist. Okay, everybody. I just want you to know.
Stop
it. There is, by the way, I would like to point out that Vackle did comment right after the last post that was put here by a Jewish man. It's not nice. And now we got somebody saying here about wearing panties. I don't even know how that ties into the whole thing. But
because that's not progressive and it's so bigotry, racist, and demonstrative.
Vackle is being racist. Okay, everybody. I just want you to know. Stop it. There is, by the way, I would like to point out that Vackle did comment right after the last post that was put here by a Jewish man. It's not nice. And now we got somebody saying here about wearing panties. I don't even know how that ties into the whole thing. But that's where Dave, the news unit, comes in the panty. No, okay.
What's up, Raw Reed?
Are you talking about on Linda's stream where he mentioned the N-word?
I don't know who did.
I'll just assume that's.
Yeah, really. No. The word panties, mate. It's a shame that panties and the N-word is enough to make you think of Dave, or pretending you're shooting somebody through the screen or some stupid thing or whatever. And
because he's neither black nor a woman. So mentioning the N-word and panties shouldn't make you think of a white man.
It's something shocking, Bruce.
That's all.
It's like the opposite.
Shocking, Bruce.
What's that?
Do you want to hear something shocking from England?
Yeah.
But the latest news is one of the deans the official deans of the Church of England have stated that Jesus was a transgender because the spear that thrust his side, this is in the main news stream as well, was in the shape of a vagina, which proves that Jesus is transgender. I kid you not. That's on the BBC News, in the Daily Mail, from the Dean of the Church of England, that Jesus is now trans because of the spear. That's how bad we've got in England.
Oh,
I swear on the Bible. I swear on the Bible. I'll even post a link. That's how bad the church is in this country. But that's shocking. Like I said, I'm still reverberating from that. I couldn't believe that someone would even go there, but they have.
Oh, Jesus! Stop being a pussy! Stop being a pussy, Jesus!
Although Jesus was at least bi, because he liked sailors and prostitutes. So he must have been heterosexual, but he must have been gay as well. He liked an awful lot of sailors. Do you know what I mean?
Shut up. Hey, shut up over there, man. Don't blaspheme Jesus. Who do you think you are?
But I'll put it in the private chat if you want to.
You little sinner.
It's so blasphemous.
In defense
It's
of
in the private chat, all right? So this is, again, this is literally not fake news. This is actually on the media. This is on our newspapers and in the thingy that Jesus was trans because the wound in his side was shaped like a vagina, and he was.
Somebody selling a movie.
Oh boy, yeah, that's horrible.
Can you hear me?
Blasphemy to the
I get a lot of feedback.
Could you imagine if we said something about Muhammad or something like that?
Well, okay, that's terrible. Oh yeah,
Maybe war. But you say about Jesus all the time. He was trans. He was gay. He was a vagina. You can say whatever you want about Jesus. Creation's a load of bullshit. You can do whatever you want in regard to the Christian faith. That's good to go in this world. But people with this boldness, and brazenness towards Christianity, I dare them to go to Mecca with a pig's head and start shouting Allah's a false prophet. They wouldn't, because they're cowards. Christianity is the easy target.
I have one more question. If you took the sentence or the Bible verse that we were talking about previously about the birds and the bats, and you take that sentence and you switch the place in the sentence between ospreys and bats, you put ospreys at the end. Does that mean then that ospreys are not birds?
Well, no, I'm not trying to be funny, but if you study biblical hermeneutics and you know that you whether you can or can't do that, being honest, you know whether you can or not.
I haven't studied hermeneutics. I've studied grammar.
Well, my point being is that Wildheart, hold on a second. I'm trying to actually talk now at this point. Unless we understand the biblical, Greek, let's just say Greek, okay. Unless we understand Koine Greek, whatever, and know whether you can or cannot do that, it really doesn't apply. I get what you're saying, and I thought of it too, but it really would depend on how the Greeks laid out and whether it allowed you to do that.
Right, but I do believe, to counter that, I do believe the gentleman that brought that up said he had no need for the Greek, for the Koine Greek or the Hebrew or any of that.
Yeah, he did say that the King James.
Regardless, I don't know if he's saying that has no value. I'm just saying for him, anyhow, I ain't fighting over it. I don't know.
He did say that the King James version is the authorized version, and that is the right version. So you don't have to go back to the Greek and see it was valid.
I'm probably going to lose you again. Sorry, Wildheart.
Cheers, ET. No, thanks. Those were all good points. Yeah. Yeah, he did say you don't have to go back to the Greek and the Koine Greek and the Hebrew and the Aramaic.
It's headlines. It's headlines, and it's massive news, isn't it? It's so massive news talking about this bat business. I mean, seriously. Print it in the Daily Mirror or whatever paper that you have each day. Read it with your breakfast.
Heck is a battle axe anyhow.
Sirloin said he saw it today.
Oh man, I don't know.
The rustling of papers.
Darth
The
Dawkins.
rustling of papers. The rustling of papers. I said, did you hear me? I said, the rustling of papers. Did you hear me right?
I don't know where Darth Dawkins comes from. I don't know what he tries to do exactly. Rather insulting person.
He's trying to humiliate Richard Dawkins.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Darth Dawkins. He's putting it out that he's the anti-hero to Richard Dawkins, being called Darth Dawkins.
Possibly more powerful than Richard Dawkins at the same job.
Yeah, possibly. I don't think so. Seeing that Richard Dawkins has sold millions of books worldwide, and Darth Dawkins is a fuckwit on the internet, living in his basement, being a prick.
But we talk more about Darth Dawkins, and I would believe there's possible Darth Dawkins has destroyed more souls than Richard Dawkins.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just getting at. But
no, I think you're actually right. If God does exist and you can destroy a soul, I think Darth Dawkins has destroyed more souls than Richard Dawkins could ever hope to.
Either way, they're both irrelevant nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Darth Vader. Darth Dawkins, Darth Vader, that's who he is.
Yeah. He's trying to be the anti-hero to Richard Dawkins. Like, I'm going to destroy Richard Dawkins. I am Darth Dawkins. You know, like the anti-Richard Dawkins, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Doesn't really work because he's a fuckwit. He doesn't know fuck all. And argues badly and always loses. And just calls everyone tries to talk
spirits he got hold of Smokey Saint. Poor guy. We need somebody to cast him out now.
Yeah, not to bring it down, but I know you have a lot of beef with ACO. And if I can strawman ACO, because I'll probably get it wrong, but he would say that when Smokey Saint raped that 13-year-old girl, which he did, he would say that it was God making him do that. He had no free will.
That's black.
Okay, what do you think on that, though, Wildheart? Honestly, what's your thought on that?
My thought that if God made him do that, then God is an immoral monster who doesn't deserve.
Wildheart, wait, hold on a second. Before you quote Ace Theo and try to use it as a rational means of thinking, would you give me your own thinking on it?
Yeah, that is if the God that Ace Theo worships.
I'm interested in your own personal thoughts, not the thoughts of a madman you call Ace Theo. What do you think?
But I can't do it from my point of view because I don't believe in God.
Well, that's what I'm interested in, is your own point of view, not Ace Theo's.
Right. My own point of view is that Smokey Saint is a disgusting human pile of shit.
That's right.
Who raped a 13-year-old girl of his own free will.
He's a sick.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Free will.
There you go. There you go. Me and Wildheart have actually agreed on something.
Yeah.
So make the most of that. Bill and Wildheart have agreed on something. There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Miracles happen. Miracles happen.
Yeah.
So there is common ground. There can be common ground in some places. That's good.
Yeah, but only when we're ganging up on someone else, which is a bit messed up as well.
I think I think what it is, passionate comes into it. I mean, we are passionate about the faith and about people being saved and to be saved in the spirit and saved from what's about to happen. But we know also that even though we can recommend, I mean, my pastor on Sunday, he said, look at it as a recommendation, because we were talking about how to give the gospel to the lost and pray for the lost, and he says, don't think of it as preaching, but think of it as a recommendation, an invitation. I invite you, Wild Heart, to get to be saved at the gospel of Jesus Christ, for what He's done on the cross for you. But it's up to you to receive it or reject it, and I can't force you to do either. None of us here can force you to do anything that's against your volition. That's the truth.
Yeah, but also I can't force myself to do anything against my volition. It just happens to be that I don't believe that Jesus rose from the dead on the third day, and there's nothing I can do about that. I don't choose my beliefs. I'm either convinced of something or I'm not. So I appreciate it, and I thank you very much. I get what you're saying. You're saying you can't force me into it, but also I can't force me into it either. I have no choice about what I believe.
I'm kind of funny, though. I mean, you have no choice. However, apparently, though, within determinism, you are going to be shaped by what you hear and what happens around you. So if by chance you stay in an environment that is shaping you into this way or that way, well, if it's your choice to stay, this is difficult. That's why I say flip a coin. If you don't know, just flip a coin and it'll work out. Everything's good. If the coin heads or tails, I'm gonna.
I get what you're saying.
I dive with no water. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, but I mean, it's not a simple choice. If I chose to want to believe that Jesus Christ rose from the dead, and I spent all my time thinking, I want to believe, then possibly I could convince myself. But I'm saying it's not a simple choice. It's not like a switch. It's not like I'm choosing not to believe now.
Okay, I get you. Yeah. It's not always quite that simple. I do understand that.
But I will say this though, Wild Heart. Whether you believe in God or not, He knows you. And I'm not expecting you to, give a reply on this. If you want to, you can. But I will say this: God knows you, knows your heart, and He does want to know you. He wants to talk with you. He wants you to be saved, of course. He loves you, even though you're in the sins, because even though Christ died, He died on the cross, and because He loved people, for them to be saved, to believe on Him. But also we love you as well. We are commanded to love others as well as people in the faith. And I'm going to say this right now. In the past, when I used to listen to you like on praises streams, I was like, oh no, not again. But now, listening to you now and also having a bit of talk with myself, it's about loving others as God loves us. So I'm just going to leave it there with you, Wild Heart.
Yeah, cheers. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I can only agree. Yeah, I forgot I did have a point. Yeah, I won't respond to that. But thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yeah.
That's all right, mate. Bruce, Bill, everyone, I'll see you later. I've got to go. I've got work in the morning very early.
Cheers.
So I'll see you all later. God bless.
Cheers. Thanks a lot.
Yep. Bye.
So Bojo is AFK. I think Bruce is away. Bill, what can we fight about?
We can fight about that. I've only got one beer left. I'm really annoyed about that. I have one beer left.
You got one more than me.
Oh, have you got more than me? Have you got
No, you got one more than me. This is my last beer.
Oh, okay then. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to sip slowly my beer now to make it last for a while. unfortunately.
Oh, Erica Humna and Linda in the side chat. Good to see you.
I've thought about this stuff a lot on this determinism thing, and just thinking it over and over and over, and it seems that I was determined to believe in free will.
Yeah.
I think it's my own thinking, but and the more I think about it, the more
Are you predetermined to be determined? That's the thing.
What?
That's when it gets complex. That's when it gets complex. Then we go A's Theo level.
Oh man, yeah, that's where it does get to me. Like they spend a lot of time talking about things, but yet they don't have any choice.
Well, that's what. That's
I mean, why even like talk this out? Why even think and try to rationally? I have a rough time with some deterministic thinking in the secular world too. It gets bizarre to me. I don't know, like they can see into the future, and I don't know, everything you do affects the future. We have no idea what it is, though, because we're not there, and we never will. Well, not as best not here on Earth. We ain't gonna be there, that's for sure.
Or was we there?
Hmm?
Or was we there?
Well, yeah, whatever's going to unfold and happen to us is going to happen, but that doesn't mean that we know anything about it. But our actions and such obviously have influence on it. I don't know. But I think when it gets so far that you can't even make choices anymore, that's when I'm just kind of like, oh, boy, this is ridiculous, to me.
Yeah, that's when I went off at him the other day. Do you know Greg with the breathing thing in?
Somewhat.
Greg. Yeah. He was saying that if someone like rapes a 3-year-old child, it's not his fault, it's God's fault.
Well, he's just
because he had no free will. He made him do it. He made him have the thought that made him do it. So you can blame God for everything. But then he said in the next breath that he worshipped the God that made someone rape a 3-year-old child. That was too much for me. I lost it at that point. Call them all cunts. And if you're worshipping that God that you believe in, first of all, God is a massive, massive, massive cunt, if that is the God that exists. And if you worship that God, I couldn't work out whether it was worse or not than being the God that demanded that or made him do that. But yeah, I'm just saying, yeah, to hell with a lot of you. You're not worth shit. If you worship that God, I don't want.
It's pretty weird.
Yeah.
But if you think that he is behind evil things people choose to do, and you put the blame on God because people do horrible things, yeah, it's pretty weird.
Yeah. Like from their point of view, God controls every thought you have, every action you take. God is in control of it all. You have no free will. God, it's like a play, and God is the director, and you have no free will whatsoever. So anyone who rapes a 3-year-old child, it's not their fault. You can't blame them. You have to blame the God that they worship.
Well, yeah, that's right. That's ridiculous because
that's messed up.
Well, that's why I threw in the idea of flipping a coin. I mean, at that point, you say, I mean, I like to throw a wrench in the works of the whole thing. I do understand that our nature and nurture, whatever, our genetics and our environment play a massive part on who we are. But obviously, it seems we can think, and we can read books, we can do that, we can study this, and choose to read this instead of that, or choose to have good friends around us are bad or whatever. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things. You can choose to join a biker gang. It's going around, join the Hell's Angels if you want. Whatever. And you have results for it, but you can't blame God for it or much of anything about yourself at that point.
If you can blame God for everything and God is in control of everything, then there's no point to living. It's like nihilism, but with a God. There's nothing you can do. Like that sentence that I've just spoke, I didn't have a choice about that. God made me speak that sentence. So there's no point. If that was true, there's no point me talking to you, because it's not me choosing my words. It's God choosing my words.
The worst part is that even with the choice you've made now, or you're questioning to not talk at all, then apparently God would have made you do that too. So
exactly.
When you go, you're going to be right and wrong at the same time. I don't know.
Guess that would make you God.
I mean, they have become like gods and had free will. Oh no, that's it. That's what it is. That's what happened. They got free will. Big trouble. Never thought of that. I don't know. Oh boy. Beckel says now here's where I disagree with Wildheart, because
I think that was about the time. This will be interesting. I think that was about the time I brought up if someone rapes a 3-year-old child, it's God's fault, not the human being's fault who actually rape. I think that's where. Sorry, Beckel, if I'm misrepresenting you, but I think that is about where you disagreed. I would love to hear your disagreement with that.
Yeah, I mean, but I thought Beckel had a little bit different thought than real strict on this kind of thinking. So maybe I'm just misunderstanding what he's saying.
Yeah.
Because some people believe you can make choices and others don't. It seems most do, but some even pride themselves in thinking they can't make a choice. I don't know. It's.
With that said, Bruce, I'm gonna love and leave you. Well, I'm gonna like I said, I'm going off on a high note because me and Wildheart actually agreed on something, and I don't want to spoil things. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna have me last beer and listen to some music. So Godspeed to all of you.
Have a good night.
All right, no, it's all.
Thanks for coming in.
That's all right.
Cheers, man.
Good night.
God bless.
Yeah. Yes. Wow.
Well, what did you agree on?
I forget now.
I did agree on. I think
we're both men.
It was on Ace. The idea, this guy, Ace saying that no matter what happens, pretty much it's God's fault, basically. I mean, because he created evil, and if somebody went out and murdered or shot up a bunch of people or something, you blame it on God, kind of thing. And it's like, oh, wait a minute. I mean, you do have an ability to say that's wrong and not do something.
So that's what you agreed on, Wildheart? That's God's fault.
Yeah, that is.
So he's a Calvinist. Is Greece a Calvinist?
No.
We agreed that it's not God's fault. Ace's opinion is that it's God's fault. Me and Bill agreed that it's not God's fault.
Wait, I thought Ace was like more of a universalist or something.
Well, yeah, but he's real strict on that. God's the only one with free will, and that humans have no choice. And so anything that we choose to do, apparently, whether it's good or bad, it's not our fault. That's just how we are.
So we're like a computer. God is the programmer, and we're just programmed by the computer.
Yeah, like a player. God is
actually makes sense.
It's it's actually fairly well accepted amongst some neuroscientists, but then obviously there are some who obviously don't believe in that, and it seems more in psychology and psychiatry. I don't see as much of that thinking, but oh well. Anyhow, I don't know.
Don't blame me for interrupting you or calling you names or backstabbing you. It's not me. Not my fault.
Hey, God's fault. Yeah.
We'll talk to
I think
Yahweh.
that
Yeah, that's right. I was born this
Beef with Yahweh.
Yeah, well, I do think
Yeah.
there's some truth though to the way somebody was born and their upbringing and such. That if you know certain things, you're probably more accepting of certain things people do and such. But on the other hand, if somebody just does something really sick and mean and cruel, when they know better, they chose to do that. Like, sorry.
Yeah, but from, like I said, from Ace's point of view, he's saying that it wasn't their fault because they didn't have a choice. God made them do it, essentially.
Right.
And then he worshipped the God that made them do that terrible thing. It's the two things in, yeah. He knows that it's God's fault that he made them, like, kill loads of people or whatever.
But
then he worships the same God that made them do that.
At least his God, though, accepts everybody regardless.
Yeah,
then
which is
Ace
wrong.
really can't have a beef. He can't have a complaint if anybody in how he perceives a wrongdoing done to him. He can't complain.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
but he'll show up in some Christian hangouts and chats and sit there and tell everybody they're wrong for like hours on end, right? Typing all this stuff out. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Like, why do you keep telling somebody something they can't help? I don't know.
Right, because then you're going against God's will. Aren't you fighting against
I
yourself?
don't know. I don't know.
Is that God fighting against himself?
Well, yeah, but if he was
know.
predestined to do that, then before computers even came about, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I don't get it.
Yeah.
That's
not
get strange.
I don't think that way, but I don't believe I think that way, but
Okay. One day at a time. One pebble at a time.
boy.
One shoe at a time.
Oh, so that is a pretty heavy topic, though, that whole thing about determinism and free will. And it is interesting to me how many very educated people do tend to believe in determinism. So I don't know. Weird.
I have I come to terms that I am a middle of the road type of person, which I think gives me somewhat of an advantage. But I would say, I'd be more of a compatibilist. I'm going to be a middle of the road kind of.
That's what I was thinking. I was going to say I thought Beckel was compatibilist, which means, what does that mean exactly? If things are predetermined and yet you still have choice, or I forget.
It seems to be like somewhere a mixture of the two somehow.
Yeah, like
I've heard people say that makes sense. I go like, whatever.
Like there are certain things that you are like you have no control over. Like there's certain things in your genetic code and everything that you can't control that. You have no choice in that matter. So some things are just you're kind of predetermined or I don't know the word. I forgot the word. There's a tendency to do things or not do things based on your genes or some shit like that. But then there's other things you have choice over, right?
Yeah, I think it's will versus free will. Like free will is you can do anything, like fly to the moon. Like I obviously can't. That would be free will. I think compatibilists are like you have will. You can choose to do some things, but you can't choose to do others. And it, like Bojo was saying, it depends on your environment and your DNA and how you brought up. So you have a kind of will.
And you certainly can't do
but
things that are going against the laws of nature. So.
If you have a predisposition to eat a lot, you can still make choices to not eat so much or to eat a salad instead of cake sitting there or something like that, I think. But yet you still have those, and you may fight it more than other people, but whatever. That's my belief.
Yeah. I think it's called libertarian free will, like the will to do anything. I think most people, like Bojo said, like in the middle of the road, they're like, you have some will to do some things, but some things you can't. You can't help where you're born. You can't help where you're brought up. So you have a will, but you don't have a free will.
Yeah, it's
like you have a will within limits.
The devil made me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no accountability. There's no responsibility, personal accountability or responsibility for anything. If
no,
right? I mean, if you take determinism to the extreme.
Oh yeah, you do end up with that. It's true.
And on the same side, you can't take credit for any good.
Yeah, yeah, you didn't have a choice in that either.
Well, that's probably why Ace gets on people that say they believe, and he busts on them saying that they're patting themselves on the back all the time. And they go, whatever. I guess that's whatever. I do evil because, well, the devil made me do it. It ain't my fault.
What to do?
But it is weird though when it turns around and God becomes the one that's making them do it. Horrendous things.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like a full turn. Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's like God is making me do everything I do, and then he's going to judge me at the end of my life for all the things I did. But all the things I did, God made me do. So what the hell is he judging? You know what I mean? It makes no sense whatsoever.
Although I do think it's interesting, the idea of determinism, and I kind of, that's probably I end up sort of in the middle too with it, because I do believe a good bit of it. I just don't think it plays out 100% like that. We even make mistakes, you know, all kinds of things. Like I said, then you start throwing chance and flipping coins and doing weird things. I'm sorry, I don't think it's predetermined. It can't be predetermined at that point. Other than if you were God or you had an ability to look into the future and see that, well, how could you look there before the influence you just created? See, I don't know. Too hard to understand. What do I know?
Yeah, it is difficult. Plus, get to people who actually know about philosophy and know about all this stuff, and they'll, yeah, I probably mashed it. I know nothing about it, basically. I'm just guessing. But get two people who really know about this stuff, and you'll come out with two completely different opinions again.
Paul Reed Smith is stirring up the Tonewood pot again. Well, you know, one thing I did notice, though, I argued with a lot of people for a number of years on Tonewood of a solid body electric guitar. And very few actually spent time with hundreds of guitars that they personally sat down and played, or a good many like I did where I recorded a whole bunch of them, changing the pickup from guitar to guitar to guitar, recording it back in the days of reel to reel, just to see for myself. But anyhow, all these people would argue with me and stuff about it, and I thought, kind of weird. Like, and the one guy who actually was fooling with it, he pretty well came out that he was playing games. To be honest, that's what I could get. Different people heard and such or whatever, and worse. Anyhow, other people took saws and stuff and hacked up their guitars, but they never cut out of the center. And then they make center next through, you know, like a body thing, and then put different sides on it and say it didn't change, you know, if any, very little. It's like, well, yeah, that's true. It's not the main structure through the center. It, for some reason, doesn't seem to be as much. But anyhow, everybody was right, and people just seemed to follow whatever they wanted. It seemed to me. And then they would accuse everybody else of doing the same thing. But there really weren't that many people who really, really experienced it themselves. It was really weird. It was really weird. I mean, could really talk about it and make sense of it and such, you know. And that was just my experience with it, you know. Pretty odd. Paul Reed Smith, for whatever it's worth, Bart, I offered to work for him in the 80s, and he offered me $5 an hour. And I've never, ever owned one of his guitars. I just never wanted one. I'll always turn them down.
Hey, guys, I'm going to bounce for a bit. It was fun, Bruce. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for coming in, bro, Joe.
All right. Maybe I'll see you later. I might start one in a bit. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to take a little break.
Yeah, I'm going to take off probably.
Right.
I think I've been on.
Thanks again. See you later, Wild.
It's good seeing you, Wild Heart, too. Coming in.
Yeah, I'm going to go as well. My back is killing me, so I need to lie down.
Oh, all right. Well, I hope you're feeling better soon. What happened to your back, out of curiosity?
Yes. It's a long term. I used to be a plasterer, and your back always goes. It's just if I stay upright for so long, I have to lie down.
What? Used to be a what?
If I stay upright for a long time, like sat up, then my back goes, and I need to lie down for a bit.
Okay. Well, I hope you're feeling better.
It's a long term. Yeah, not urgent medical thing, but yeah, it does hurt after a bit.
All right.
Cheers, mate. Thanks, everyone. Inside chat. Right.
So Barron's asked me if I know PRS, Paul Reed Smith. No. I only talked to him maybe a couple times. One time in particular, and I don't know, I think we got into the discussion on tremolo designs and that, and I think it made him angry. You know, well, it did. He got really torqued off. They say he's generally a laid back guy. Oh, Bart. No, I see. I was saying Bert. The all metal guitar, parts guitar. Yeah. I don't really have a problem with I've never really had a problem with whatever somebody makes a guitar out of. I don't care if you make it out of steel, aluminum, graphite, carbon fiber, whatever. What do I care? I mean, it doesn't matter. I do know that well, I mean, in a sense it's gonna sound like a guitar, you know. But I think most people would agree that if you go from say ebony or something like that, ironwood or something, and make a body out of that, and you compare that to I don't know, balsa wood for that matter. It's pretty tough to build it out of it, but you could, I guess. You know, 3-pound swamp ash body versus an ironwood body or something, ebony body. I'm sorry, man. I do. Yeah, I think they sound different. And I even think there's differences from one piece of wood to the other within species. And that's something other people would agree on, that they would agree with. So they would agree that within species, you can hear differences, and yet one species is no different than another. So that's where the whole thing is fell apart. It's so ridiculous to me. And then apparently if you recognize this within wood, then you were against anything made out of other materials, which is also wrong. That's not true. I like lots of stuff. You know, I don't care. I don't care what they make it out of. I mean, super glue and baking soda. I don't know. Just make a guitar out of that. Be cool. But the all metal scrap parts guitar, yeah, I'd have to see the I don't know, titanium guitar. That would be pretty expensive, I guess. Bag that idea. Fiberglass, lots of cool stuff, man. Yeah, the mechanical properties are key. Yeah, but then, you know, you get into pickups, and that's such a radical difference, so easy to hear. I think the funniest thing through that whole argument, I always talked about that I liked, you know, like a 3.5 pound, like say swamp ash body. The reality is, at that time during that, most of the time when I played my guitar, I was playing this Telecaster with this, man, it's heavy as heck. I mean, that guitar, I don't know what it weighs. I mean, as much as a lot less Pauls I've picked up, it's a heavy guitar. You know, Northern Ash, really, really heavy. It's what I played anyhow. Like I just don't care that much. They're different. Can't have everything. Oh well. Anyhow, I'm going to take off, guys. Appreciate everybody coming in. Hope you're doing well. Have to play around with some guitars more, but Corey Smith and the tone thing, I'll just say, yeah. Apparently, what I remember way years ago, he was into this all mahogany guitar. Thought they sounded the best, and then, you know, it seemed to me because people wanted maple tops, I think he went that way. I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't know. Me with Paul Reed Smith, I don't even know that we even talked about tone wood at all. It was all over designing a bridge that, and a system, the way the strings go over the nut and all this, which I think, yeah, he did a good job, or I wouldn't even talk with him anyhow, whatever. All right, take care, guys. Have a good day.